Welcome to Dawgs versus All Y'all, a weekly college football podcast where we discuss not only my favorite team, the Georgia Bulldogs, but we talk all things college football, hence all y'all. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and look us up on Instagram at SuplexDinnerClub. And go Dawgs. Yo, what's going on, y'all? Welcome to another episode. The time is finally here, college football fans. It's game day Saturday. It is finally time. It is finally time to see which teams live up to expectations, which teams are overrated, and most importantly, which team is up to task of dethroning the two-time defending national champion Georgia Bulldogs. I'm locked in. I know y'all are too. So today's episode, we're going to not only preview the Georgia opener against UT Martin, but we're going to talk about my games of the week. And also, we're going to definitely check in with our hunting season 12. So I hope y'all are ready for a quick episode. You know how I give it up. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. Y'all know how I give it up. I'm not here for a long time. I'm here for a good time. So let's lock in and let's go. Before we get into this episode, I greatly appreciate if you look us up on Instagram and now YouTube at SuplexDinnerClub. That's the home of 2 podcast projects that I work on. I'd greatly appreciate the follow. Share us with any other college football fans. Join the community. Join the conversation. We're all about thought, conversation, and fun. I greatly appreciate it. The Hunting Season 12 is my ranking system for the top 12 teams in the nation. I made a preseason one a couple episodes back, so I'm going to give you a quick recap of the top 12. Number 1 team, Georgia Bulldogs, two-time defending national champs. Y'all know what time it is. They're followed by University of Michigan, LSU, and Ohio State. The number 5 team is going to be FSU. I do have them ranked over Alabama at number 6, followed by Penn State, USC, Clemson, and Oregon at 10. Number 11 team is going to be Notre Dame, who last weekend, they looked good. They did what they were supposed to do. And number 12 are the Longhorns of Texas. That's our hunting season 12. That's our hunting season 12 preseason rankings. Now, obviously, a number of these teams are going to be playing each other this season, so it's going to make for a very interesting. Now, a number of those teams are going to be playing each other throughout the year, so it's going to make up for some interesting matchups, some terrific games of the week, and hopefully an entertaining playoff race. So I want to hear from you guys. What team should be on the hunting season 12? I want to hear from you guys. What team should be in the hunting season 12? And also, just to be messy, which team shouldn't be in the hunting season 12? I'm really interested to hear your thoughts.
Now, obviously, when you turn the tape on and you see the amount of talent and high level of schemes and how kids are coached and effort and physicality, I see it. Okay, I'm sure everybody in the country does. Okay, so and tremendous credit to Coach Smart and that program and what they've recruited and developed there.
And that was Coach Simpson of UT Martin commenting on the talent that Georgia has and the task that his team, the Skyhawks, are up against. I'm going to keep this quick and simple, y'all. The difference of this game is the line of scrimmage. Simply put, UT Martin has a talented defense. They return a lot of players with experience. They're smaller, yes, but they're fast and well coached. I know their defense coordinator took a head coaching job, so there's a little transition there, but it sounds like it's business as usual for those guys. They're confident, they're ready to fly around. Georgia's offensive line is coming in this season with a whole lot of hype. A whole lot of hype. A lot of outside noise I'm hearing. Is Amaris Mims the number one tackle in the nation? Should Georgia have won Offensive Line of the Year award last year, 2 years ago? They're going out for blood. They want to win that award this year. I'm hearing all that. But now it's game time. Now it's time to show up and show out. But you don't have to take my word. Catch what Kirby had to say about this.
The fear is reading what you all say about him, or believing that what Warren Brinson says about Amaris Mims is going to be the gospel. I mean, you have to earn that. You have to go out and earn what you get and do it on tape. You just get told that you're this or that doesn't make you that. And I can show you countless examples on tape where that hasn't been true. I can also show you countless examples where it has been.
Kirby knows what time it is, y'all. It's time to show up and show out. Maybe the number one player being Kirby knows what time it is, y'all. You gotta show up and show out. Probably the one player under the most. Kirby knows what time it is, y'all. You gotta show up and show out. Probably the player with the most. Probably the player under the most scrutiny is Carson Beck. This is his 4th year in the program. He looks the part. He looked confident in spring practice. And he looked confident in the spring game. Probably the player under the most scrutiny for Georgia. Probably the player under the most scrutiny against. Probably the player under the most scrutiny on Georgia's team. Definitely Carson Beck. You're the quarterback. You're under the most scrutiny always. Generally speaking, if you're doing well, the team's winning. If you're not, we're losing. Simple as that. Carson looks the part. He seems confident. He seems very confident from spring practice all the way through summer and now going through fall camp. I think he's geared up for a big year. And it seems like the coaches are very confident in him. So if they're confident in him, rock and roll, so am I. So my final for this game. I think Carson has a big game, big first half, throws a couple touchdowns, moves the offense. Two people are under the most scrutiny of this game in particular. And that's quarterback Carson Palmer. Two dogs are under the most scrutiny in this game. And that's quarterback Carson Beck and offensive coordinator Mike Bobo. Carson's been in the program. This is his 4th year in the program. He looks the part. He's been confident from spring practice through summer, fall camp, and now he's officially named a starter, I think he's geared for a big year. Coach Bobo, I love Bobo, by the way. I'm not one of the weirdo crybaby Georgia fans. I love Bobo. He's under a lot of criticism from Mike Bobo. It's a lot of selective revisionist history when it comes to Coach Bobo. He knows how to run an offense. He ran a great offense back during the Rick era. And he just finished working under Coach Monk, who showed him gave him some more tools. So why the hell wouldn't we want him as the offense coordinator? So I'm all for Coach Bobo. I'm all for Coach Bobo. I hope he shows up and shows out also. I think that the first half is going to be a big one for the Georgia offense. It's going to be all gas, no brakes. Then second half, y'all know what time it is. It's a Kirby death march. Kill that second half. We're killing that second half. Kirby. Y'all know what time it is. Second half, Kirby death march after Kirby death march. Let's get the starters out. Let's get some young guys in. Let's burn clock and get the hell out of there. So, you got it from... My final score, guys, is going to be Georgia 48, UT Martin 6. That's my final. So let's go ahead and get into our games of the week. So let's go ahead and get into our must-see games of the week. First one I have for you. North Carolina versus South Carolina. Border rivals, two talented teams that are led by two star quarterbacks. Drake May of North Carolina is arguably the best quarterback in the nation. Now, I'm on the side of Caleb Williams, the number one guy, but you can argue Drake May. He has all the tools. He looks the part. He's the man. Now, over there in South Carolina, you have Spencer Rattler. Came into college football highly recruited, highly ranked, high regard. Had a little bumpy of a ride in Oklahoma, unfortunately. But he's figuring it out in South Carolina. I really like the direction of their program under Coach Shane Beamer. He's recruiting at a high level. He's bringing in talent that they haven't seen in quite some time. And they're hitting up and they're working within that transfer portal, rounding out that team. The difference of this game, or the biggest question mark in this game for me, is North Carolina's defense improved. Last year they were a hot mess. I have my doubts on Spencer Rattler, but I have even more doubts on North Carolina's defense. So, with that being said, I'm picking the Gamecocks to win and beat North Carolina. Our next must-see game of the week, LSU and Florida State. Last year's battle was a classic. It was a rough slugfest, for sure. And it was a rough slugfest, and FSU came out on top through a botched kick attempt by LSU to end the game. I like both teams. If you listen to the podcast, you do know that I'm a fan of what both of these teams are doing. what both of these programs are doing. Brian Kelly, I thought that year 2 would be his year to turn things around. If you listen to the podcast, you know that I'm a fan of both of these programs and their trajectories. I thought that Brian Kelly would take about a year or two, maybe 2 years, to get things right. He proved plenty of people wrong, plenty of people in the media, plenty of fans, including myself, turned his team around first year, beat Alabama, won the SEC West. They did great things. They're led by quarterback Jaden Daniels, talented guy. I love the way that he's progressed through his years in college, from his time at Arizona State to now at LSU. If not for injuries in the second half of the season, who knows if they would have pulled out a win at Texas A&M like they should have. Who knows how much closer that SEC championship game should have been. But they're a talented team. He's a talented player. And I just love the weapons that they have around him. Now, Florida State on the other side, I really love what Coach Mike Norvell's been doing. He's one of the coaches who's done college football right the past couple seasons. He's utilizing NIL. He's definitely getting into the transfer portal. He's snatched up some of the best players the past couple years. And that didn't change this year. He got Keon Coleman, 6'4" receiver, monster of a receiver from Michigan State. Now you're adding him to a receiving core with Johnny Wilson, a 6'7" receiver. And you go into the transfer portal and get Jaheim Bell from South Carolina, that tight end who was criminally misused at South Carolina. You're giving Jordan Travis, the quarterback, all of these weapons. I love it. I love the matchup. I love both teams. I do have a few questions about Florida State's offensive line. The biggest news going into this game is the suspension of star defensive tackle Mason Smith of LSU. Talented player. He's a game wrecker, game changer. Can LSU overcome that loss? Now, last year he played like one series, injured his knee, and he was the difference. But I do think LSU has made the needed adjustments. I think LSU has made the needed adjustments to their depth. I think the name of the game, line of scrimmage. The name of the game, line of scrimmage. The name of the game and the deciding factor in who wins this, line of scrimmage, simply put. So with that being said, even with the loss of Mason Smith, unfortunately, shame on you, NCAA, by the way, for even doing that lame. That's lame, but whatever. Even with that loss, I'm taking LSU to get revenge from last year's loss. Both of those are our must-see games of the week. I know we're in for a ride. I can't wait to watch them, and I love to hear what your thoughts are. I love to hear, do you agree with me? Do you agree with me? Am I wrong? Let me know. Thanks again for checking us out. I really appreciate the listen. If you haven't already, look us up, Instagram, YouTube, at SuplexDinnerClub. That's the home of 2 podcast projects that I work on. Mondays and Fridays, we talk college football on Dawgs versus All Y'all, a weekly college football podcast where we don't just talk about the Georgia Bulldogs, talk about all things college football, hence All Y'all. Wednesdays, you know the vibes. It's the Life and Times Pod, which is short for the Life and Times of a Restaurant Lifer podcast. It's conversations with some really cool and interesting people that I've met in my years in hospitality. Thank you again for your support. Y'all enjoy this week 1 of college football. I know it's going to be some big games tomorrow. I can't wait. I don't even know how I'm going to go to sleep. But y'all enjoy. I'll see you on Monday where we'll do a quick recap of those games of the week, as well as also I release the updated Hunting Season 12. We're going to see who moves up and who moves down and possibly out the 12. So y'all have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy football. Enjoy family, friends, all that good stuff. And take care of each other. And as always, go Dogs.